Hi, this is Dr. Terry Rose, and I'm glad to be with you today. In this video, my goal is to explain the entire series that I've created on emotional readiness to give you some ideas about how you might use it for your own staff training and professional development, and give you a preview of what the components of the webinars are. As a professional speaker, as a founder of an early childhood organization that serves very young children, birth through third grade, including the elementary school, and provides a variety of family services. And as a social entrepreneur, I'm always looking for ways in which we can take what we know based on research and best practice and translate that into improving the work that we do with families and improving outcomes for young children within the context of their families. I think a lot about how to best create information that is accessible, how to help people hear things that they already know, confirm those ideas, how to build upon information that they've gathered over time and are ready to integrate into their practice, and perhaps how to introduce new materials, different ways of thinking that will require some time and additional opportunities to hear the information, but we'll really begin to build a foundation of information, of understanding of child development, and most importantly, from my perspective, an understanding of the baby's point of view to improve the work that we do with children and families. I have been a scholar for the last few months of trying to figure out how do you best do webinars. I've attended webinars. I've tried a few unsuccessful attempts at creating webinars and have found that whether they're live like this presentation or whether they're a series of slides, that they're very hard to attend to for long periods of time. Unlike a live training where there's feedback between the presenter and the audience, in this case, even when I attend a webinar, my desktop is just calling to me to be doing other things while I'm listening to what's going on. So with that in mind, what I've done is created a series of very short webinar videos so that they can be used and listened to, for example, at a staff meeting. It could be the first 10 minutes of a staff meeting. It could be perhaps each one ends and there's a discussion period after, some in a professional development setting, for example, or as a group. Or they could be used as you bring on board new staff and you want them to begin to have a background in the areas of emotional health, emotional readiness, and understanding the importance of early relationships with young children. I am attempting to do this as a concept, really, and depend on your feedback to let me know if it works. So there will be a series of webinars that are available on my YouTube channel. I would recommend that you do them in order. I think it'll make more sense as the entire package, but that they are done in short vignettes so that it allows time, either breaks in between or discussions. And I would also encourage you to do that. Even going back and re-watching different segments can provide another additional time to learn, to think about some of the concepts that are presented, and may improve the kind of practice and the ways in which you think about or talk about the work that you do with young children and families. Overall, my goal is that we really build the awareness of the importance of social emotional development, particularly in young children, that we begin to understand how the earliest relationships that babies and toddlers have with their primary caregivers, which can be their parents, their grandparents, their child care providers and teachers, that those relationships really matter and set a foundation for later growth and development that continue to even influence us as adults. Our own relationships that we formed with our primary caregivers inform the way that we form new relationships, and we'll discuss that throughout the series of webinars. I also want to really get across the message in many, many different ways that what young babies need and toddlers and young children are secure, stable, consistent relationships with caregivers that they can trust and count on, who can protect them from things that are beyond their abilities to manage on their own, and help them really form the essentials, capacities and skills for solid social emotional development. I hope to hear from you to see if these webinars are being effective and that they're really kind of meeting the needs of your staff, helping translate information, and are easy to pay attention to and to really engage in this kind of format. So please contact me and let me know if they're working for you. Thanks very much for all that you do on the behalf of young children and families, and I hope that this series of webinars on emotional readiness adds to the work you do and the quality of the services you're able to provide. Information about anything that I present in these webinars is also available in my book, Emotional Readiness, How Early Experience really builds that foundation for school readiness and mental health, and that you can find that book on Amazon. Thanks very much and enjoy the series.